What's up, everyone? Gojin the Makai Phantom approaching ya, and joining me is Abysskeizer, and welcome to another episode of Galactic Nerd Outpost. Today, we are going to discuss some dead gaming franchises that we feel need to be revived. Soon joining us is going to be Zimzilla99, but he's a bit busy, which is why there was a bit of a delay that went on. But you know what? He'll end up showing up at some point, so can't hold it off for too long. Am I right, Abyss?
Yeah.
But I think when it comes to this topic, there's definitely a lot to go on about. But anyway, before we start, probably gonna give them a few more minutes to join. But I decided to start up the podcast right now, just so if there's anybody waiting on it, they know that nothing stopped us from doing it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who's starting off? Or...
Okay, give me a minute. Probably gonna play a little something to probably gonna play a little something on the screen to kind of give people a time to wait. Okay. Okay. What are we looking for? Minutes. Okay. Which, to those who watch the podcast when it's already posted and no longer live, I'll have a little thing in the description to show when it actually starts. But just want to give Zim time to join, because my first choice, I think he'd have a bit to say on, since we both kind of share a love for the franchise. So gonna give him a bit of time. Okay.
I got 3, and there's one. One of them he might possibly say. I'm hoping it's not it.
Yeah. I can kind of predict what might be one of his choices, but I could be wrong. There's a good chance that I will be wrong, but I do think there is a possibility that he will choose this thing. But I'm not going to say what it is. I don't want to turn out to be wrong.
Yeah, same here. Hell, he might even forgot about what this one I'm about to talk about.
Yeah, there is a really good chance.
We'll see.
But anyway, while we're waiting, what do you want to talk about? This is a podcast after all, so I might as well just talk about a bunch of random shit till he shows up.
Have you been watching the stuff between Amber Heard and Johnny Depp?
Oh yeah, I heard this stuff is freaking insane. Mr. H has been doing quite a bit of videos on it, and my God, she looks like shit now. I remember when a lot of people were like that. Oh yeah, she was hot and stuff like that. Oh no, she looks like shit now, and you know what? I don't feel sorry for her at all. She is insufferable.
No, she's completely psychotic.
And honestly, I think she is the definitive proof that you shouldn't trust people's words. You need to believe the facts and evidence. Don't trust all men, and don't trust all women.
Yeah. Evidence for anything.
Yep. I remember when someone was telling me that, the whole thing that women lie is a myth. It's like, what you think now, motherfucker?
Who was it?
He was that one big social justice warrior guy back in the day who got me free Zone Fighter DVDs and such, which I appreciated that, but the thing is, the dude was very toxic overall, so... you know who I'm referring to, right?
Not really, because there's a bunch of people out there like that. Oh, wait.
Man, it's such a long story, but essentially, yeah, he was insufferable. You hated him for a while. But when it comes to the whole thing with Johnny and Amber Heard, it's nice to see Johnny is actually getting some proper is finally getting justice, because he was really done bad. I think Johnny even said that it's at a point where a lot of people want a new Pirates of the Caribbean. I wouldn't mind that, to be honest, because I love Pirates of the Caribbean. But since he was fired and gave shit for the lies that Amber did, Johnny straight up fucking said he doesn't care how much Disney fucking pays him. He's not returning to that company. And you know what? I don't blame him.
Yeah.
They done him really fucking shitty.
Have you seen the clips of her lawyer, who ironically his last name is Rottenborg, kept saying objection hearsay to like everything that they were trying to say?
I have, yes, I have. It's fucking crazy. It's like, yeah, I get you gotta make money, and it's your job to defend shitty people, but at the same time, when it comes to Miss Heard, it's like, I don't know. I just couldn't be a lawyer, because I could not do that I could not bring a piece of shit like that. I couldn't defend that type of shitty person. I especially wouldn't want any chance of them going out. Even if it is good fucking money, I just feel morally it's not worth it.
Yeah.
But that's how I feel about the whole situation with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Johnny seems to be quite happy about it, and many of us, I'll admit, even I kind of had doubts that maybe he wasn't gonna win, because everyone seemed to have been, a lot of these corporations seem to have been in her favor, unfortunately. But now it's finally about time where everything started to officially fuck her, and I'm in support of that. Like, some people would be like, oh, this is cancel culture. It's like, no, it's not. This is the consequence of your fucking actions, bitch. I think even Jason Momoa stands against her, and if you don't know who Jason Momoa is, he actually
Aquaman.
Yeah. And it's nice to see him do that, because he plays in movies with her. They have a professional relationship, so it definitely was.
It absolutely sucks for DC fans like me, but at the same time, justice needs to be done.
Yeah, actual fucking justice. And I think it just serves her right, because I'm all for giving shitty people the shittiest of treatment. And honestly, to be honest, no, I can't say what she deserves here on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm sure you agree with me on what I think this bitch deserves, but we got guidelines here.
Just know that she's probably going to be found guilty of all this, and her life will probably be fucked for the rest of her days for this.
Yep, and it serves her right. Like, when you hear the voice recordings of how she treated Johnny, it's just disgusting, especially how she's yelling how he's a baby when she cut off the tip of his fucking finger. It's like nobody wants their fucking finger cut off.
Oh.
It's like nobody wants their damn finger cut off.
You I don't know, you were like loading off for a second there.
Oh, I was?
Yeah, I think you got cut off or something.
Okay, well, essentially, there's the voice clips of her, how she abused Johnny, and there's voice clips of this, if you haven't heard them. They are fucked up. Like, there's one where she's calling him a baby because he's talking about how she cut off the tip of his fucking finger. And honestly, it's like, bitch, that's not a baby. That is someone who doesn't want his finger cut off. That's a rational fucking thought.
Yeah. Come on, Zen boy.
Oh, what happened?
I'm just waiting for Zumzilla to show up.
Oh,
I'm not trying to sound impatient.
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to give him a few minutes because I just think he could bring a lot to the discussion.
All right.
Let me message him.
Should I go ahead and just do one, just to get it out of the way, or
Huh?
should I go ahead and do one just to
Yeah,
get it
go
done?
ahead and do one.
Okay. The Battle Tanks games that was from the '90s, early 2000s.
Yes.
I haven't heard a damn thing about it since what Battle Global Wars, which came out like what '99, 2000.
Yeah.
They probably would have done a sequel, but the company 3DO that made them went bankrupt. Haven't heard a thing about it ever since then. I kind of wish someone would come out and be like, "Hey, this is what was going to happen in the third game," because the cliffhanger was pretty crazy. And I feel like if it was made in today's standards and actually made really good, I think it would have a really kick-ass multiplayer.
Oh yeah, that would be pretty cool, especially with the overall concept of the game. It would kind of be nice to actually be able to enjoy that with other players. Hopefully it wouldn't take away the two people in a room type of thing. Like, I hate that modern games often do that where they're like, hey, two play, nobody wants to sit on a couch anymore. It's like, why not have both? Why not play games with people in the same room with you while also having the online aspect? That's something I miss, and yeah, that would be pretty cool, I think.
Yeah, I didn't like how you couldn't go and select the time limit or like the score limit of this game. Like that's something that should have been even back then from the last
Yeah.
game, because like the multiplayer is like really fun.
Yeah, but nothing is perfect.
Yeah. Quite a few tanks. The story's pretty interesting and pretty crazy. Also,
Yes. Okay, so is that it you have to say about battle tanks?
no, should I probably say the story? What happens?
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead. That would be much appreciated.
Um, so there's a plague that like ends up killing like 99.9% of all women, so like almost all women, and like the whole world plunges into chaos. Like I guess trying to keep, because they're the one that makes babies and shit, right?
Yeah.
And they end up nuking the world, causing apocalypse. And the guy you're playing as is some dude called Griffin Spade. He looks like your stereotypical Giga Chad.
Oh.
And the first game, you like supposed to find his wife, like you going across the post-apocalyptic America trying to find and save her. First game. Second game, you're going after some redheaded goth chick named Queen Cassandra, and she like kidnapped Griffin's kid, and she ends up mind controlling all his soldiers, and he ends up escaping from killing them, and he's ended up chasing her across the United States and eventually over in Europe. And she does kidnap his kid, and he ends up finding out she's the reason why. She was the one who set the plague that killed like all the women and shit. And because they don't have this thing called the Edge, which is like some kind of supernatural thing. I don't remember the whole story. Eventually, you do catch up to her in Alcatraz, the prison Alcatraz, and you fight her in the final showdown. You kill her, and you think you win, right? No,
Yeah.
there's a scene where it says, "At last, I found her, the chosen one." It's some mysterious hood guy. He ends up reviving her, and that's where it ends. You don't know what happened after that.
Yeah, I know how that feel. One of the later choices I'm gonna get into of my picks, has something similar to that in a way that it just ends. But I'm not gonna go on about it yet because that's one of the things I want to discuss with them. Huh?
So I don't know if they're ever gonna like do a sequel to these games or just straight up reboot it. Probably
Yeah.
gonna end up just rebooting it. At the least, I would like to see the game developers come out and say, "Hey, this is what we were gonna plan for the story." That way, we'll
Yeah.
at least get some kind of closure to what's happening.
Yes. Like, it would be better than nothing.
Yeah. I don't think I ever played the first game, but I did play Global Wars. Me and my brother played it all the time
Yeah.
back in the day.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So yeah, I feel like that would be probably my number one choice. I'm like, yo, if there's one game you want to see come back right now, what would be? It'd be this one.
Okay, I'll go on one of my choices. We need Rampage back. The last game we got of Rampage was Total Destruction. That was the last game we got. The games of Rampage, the stories are very simple and basic. Essentially about these people that end up drinking, at least in World Tour. I recently been playing the original again on that arcade thing I got over there. And it's a very simple story, even with Total Destruction, that you just have people that turn into giant monsters, with Ralph being a reference to the American Werewolf in London, George being a reference to Kong, Lizzie being a reference to Godzilla, and then you have multiple others, which are overall pretty fun. It's just a nice little tribute to kaiju stuff in a video game format that's overall fun and goofy. And I think it would be nice to have that formula back, because even Total Destruction, though it wasn't an arcade game, it still had a lot of what made an arcade game fun, while also being a modernized version of it. And I would like to see that on a current generation console, to be honest. That is something I would really love to see out of Rampage, is a modern, like, just imagine modern graphics, modern controls, and somewhat modern gameplay of an old arcade game style like Rampage. Wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be anything deep or dark. Like, that's one of the things why the Dwayne Johnson movie worked, because though it wasn't the most accurate thing to the games, at the same time, the story was still fun and simple and worked, and it did capture the spirit of Rampage.
Yeah.
Like, have you played the Rampage games?
Yeah, I used to play it all the time with my brother and one of my cousins.
Yeah, those games are a lot of fun. I still gotta replay those games. The only one I've replayed in recent years has been the original, which is still a fun blast till this day.
Yeah, I need to. I was looking at it a couple times, been wanting to buy it again. Probably gonna do it now. On my
go ahead.
GameCube.
I still gotta buy Total Destruction and stuff like that again.
Yeah, that was a fun game.
It was. It's, like I said, it's a fun little reference to kaiju movies, and even non-kaiju stuff like American Werewolf in London. And they just did it in a very energetic way that I don't think many games tend to capture it. Rampage is unique.
Yeah. It's like all your stereotype of typical stuff in a kaiju movie, but like in a funny, good way.
Yeah, it's a nice little parody that doesn't really trash on kaiju films, but more of pays respect to it in a comedic manner.
Yeah.
Okay. What's your next pick?
It's not necessarily a game franchise, but it's a collective thing of games. Think of it like Dark Souls. They're all not necessarily the same games, or like Demon Souls or Bloodborne, I should say, but they all still have the same gameplay. We're just gonna say the AKI Studio games, which are the ones like WCW, NWO, World Tour and Revenge, WrestleMania 2000, WWF No Mercy, and Virtual Pro Wrestling 1 and 2. I just felt like they had a really good gameplay and really good customization. Even like, it's mind blowing how good it is, even for something 20 plus years ago now for these games.
Yeah.
And the gameplay is still really fucking great to get day. And I know the AEW game that's supposed to be coming out in September. They said they don't know for sure if it's going to be released now. They might delay it, but they are trying to capture that gameplay again. And they even got the director from the WWF No Mercy game to help them out. So we'll see what happens. I just feel like they're really good games. I know there's a lot of people who miss them, like me. It has a bit of a cult following, I would say. Not like a huge. Definitely would blow anything out of 2K these days, because I'm not a fan of their games that much compared to the older stuff like SmackDown.
Yeah,
SmackDown versus Raw.
I think the only 2K wrestling game I played was 2012, because either me or one of my brothers, I think it was one of my brothers, got 2K 2012 for Christmas one year, and we played some of it, but we didn't do too much of it. But I remember it being okay. Nothing that really compared to the really great stuff like Here Comes the Pain, the earlier SmackDown versus Raws, all that really, really fucking good stuff. That got me into wrestling, to be honest.
You know who AJ Styles is?
Yeah, I know who AJ Styles is.
I'll be crazy. I'll be looking at you like crazy if you don't know who he is. Before he came to WWE, but he loves these games, particularly Virtual Pro Wrestling 2. He says it's the greatest wrestling game of all time to him. I know he would be right on board loving these games as soon as they come out. If they came out with like another one, like
Yeah.
the like the 8KI games. 8KI is still around, but they haven't like made a wrestling game in years, and they're called something else. I think Sin Sophia or something now. Yeah, but
Yes.
still, it's kind of cool. At least one of these games we're talking about today is getting some kind of revival in the way, kind
Yes.
of, or at least trying to replicate it.
Yes, most definitely. Which just brings me to, did you finish your take on the wrestling games?
I was going to say, and for Godzilla fans, Virtual Pro Wrestling 2, it's got Don Fry, which, as you know, from Gordon,
Yep.
Captain Gordon from Final Wars in it. He's pretty fun
Yeah.
to play as.
Yeah, I would love it. That's something I gotta grab because honestly, I fucking love Don Fry, and I've loved him in Godzilla Final Wars.
You're either gonna have to be lucky, like I did, and find someone who easily English translate it. You're gonna have to get an emulator and like get a patch on your computer to play it, unless you just want to learn Japanese and try to play it normally.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really hard. I got really lucky and I bought me a copy that someone was selling in English for sale.
That's good. I'm still waiting for someone to do that to Ultraman Fighting Evolution because I played the emulators, the ROMs of those games, and holy fuck, they are good. And Ultraman Fighting Evolution Rebirth, that game right there even has even adds stuff to the Ultraman lore that would later appear in shows like Ultra Galaxy. Would love an English translation of that game that isn't just a YouTube Let's Play.
Yeah, that sounds badass.
It most definitely. Anyway, is that all you have to say about the wrestling?
I just hope the customization is really good. I like that as well, because that's another fun thing. You love like making like people from like either shows or like games. I love playing as them, like wrestlers from other promotions or like past games that they've making in that current entry.
Makes sense.
I feel like that's another huge aspect of wrestling is customizations and stuff.
Oh yes, the customizations of wrestling games. I used to love that shit, and
I remember in some of them they would let you put your music, like if you have on a playlist, and put it on there. They got rid of that, I think, from copyright stuff, probably. Infuriating.
Yeah, that is because that was a lot of fucking fun. I used to love to make my own superstar and have whatever song I wanted under that character as they would just come into the ring. It was incredible. Like, that's one of the things that I really enjoyed about those games is the customization. I don't really think there's any game out there that done it better than the older wrestling games because the older wrestling games, you were pretty much able to make almost just about whatever you wanted. And it's almost artistic in a way because some of these... the shit some of these people come up with their characters is very unique, and not everyone could have done that. And I don't know. I just really would like to see that done again today, especially with online multiplayer, because people would able to just kind of show off their own superstar and such with other players.
Yeah, I mean, at least the customization is one I think they still consistently do good for the most part in 2K.
Yeah.
But I do feel like them getting rid of the body types in that new game was kind of slime pathetic.
Yeah.
Well, the body morph things, whatever. I don't know what the exact term was. That was from 2K19. And then they claimed they got rid of the custom entrances from 2K20 to 2K22 because it was one of the reasons why 2K20 was so glitchy. But I'm like, it was completely fine in 2K19. What's your point?
Yeah.
I don't know. But then again, U's kind of dipped after 2K20. They kind of left in the middle of it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just don't think the new people are just not really good at the intro stuff like Hughes was.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I'll be right back. Gonna get my coffee.
You and your coffee.
Yep.
Yeah, there's some Godzilla fans in here, like I said. Don Fry's in this game, and he's kind of fun to play as. Uh, there's a shooter thing on here where you can there's like different type of wrestlers where Virtual Pro Wrestling 2, there's like standard wrestlers, and then like hybrid, and then shooters, which is like MMA stuff. You can like do stuff as a shooter where you can like knock down your opponent and like do ground and pound like you see stuff like in UFC, MMA, or whatever. And then there's like a thing where you can do combo moves and stuff, pressing like up pad, down pad, B, and all that. Hybrid Fighter is one of them that's like normal wrestling moves, and then the other is like for the button combo, which is what I use for my character. And then there's like typical wrestlers that just have like all wrestling moves, just like your generic typical wrestling with movesets for these games. Pretty fun shit. And if you try to like Irish whip a shooter, they stop you and then they like smack you, preventing you from doing it. And if you Irish whip playing as like the shooter wrestler, they do a move where like trip you on your face or whatever. It's pretty cool. You need to look up Virtual Pro Wrestling 2. There's a modded version by 3M. I don't know how to say his name. It's a modded version of Virtual Pro Wrestling 2 where it has like all the wrestlers you like Stone Cold, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, The Rock. It got Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit in it, AJ Styles. It's definitely worth playing. You're gonna have to get an emulator and like download up Pro Wrestling 2 and like emulate, like get the patch to like be able to play it, but it's worth it, I promise. Makes me really wish Aki would come out and make another wrestling game, or at least somebody tries to do it, which, like I said, they are. With AEW. AEW's going to kill a roster game. I don't know if Cody Rhodes is going to be in it. I don't know, weird thing about Virtual Pro Wrestling 2, for copyright reasons, they intentionally made like New Japan wrestlers like come out with like random generic names and then make them look like generic wrestlers, but they have like all their attire in the game and their faces, and so you could go in there at least and customize it to where it's actually them. I think that's my only real issue about Virtual Pro Wrestling 2, but other than that, it's probably my favorite wrestling game besides No Mercy, and Here Comes the Pain. Come on, Zimmy boy, where are you? I'm already done through 2 of my games, and he hasn't even showed up yet. Joey will never. He called himself Joey. Joey's gonna be in here soon, probably saying his second game. If people show up. Yeah, and for all Godzilla fans, y'all probably know Don Fry, famous MMA fighter, probably one of the first big ones when it started to become a thing. I would check out some of his fights if you have not, even if you're not like an MMA fan. Particularly his fight with Yoshihiro Takayama, which is also in Virtual Pro Wrestling 2. He's considered to be one of Japan's greatest wrestlers of all time. It was just a straight up fucking brawl. It was an awesome brawl.
I'm back.
I was just randomly talking about shit about wrestling while you're gone to the live stream, so they don't leave.
It keeps people entertained.
Yeah.
So, I guess my next pick would be the Atari Godzilla games, because those were the best Godzilla has been. They may have been lacking in content, but holy god, what we got was incredible. The gameplay was similar to what you got in the movies, but at the same time, they changed it up to match more in a game than just being identical to the movies like Godzilla PS4 did. And we haven't got one in years, and it would be nice to actually get that in another Godzilla game. Granted, Unleashed did have a conclusion, but
Yeah.
I would like to see more Godzilla games go back to that level, because the people who made the Atari Godzilla trilogy, they knew what they were doing.
Oh, yeah.
They had the only thing that I think needed more of was more modes, I think, but they kind of been improving that each time. Just imagine if we got a modern console that would run those games with better graphics, better sound design, and overall new gameplay to fit it. Wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah. I mean, someone's at least kind of doing it with those people
Yeah,
making that Save the Earth modded game.
Yeah, that looks incredible, because we have modernized graphics, modernized sound. The monsters are more accurate to the movies. I am looking forward to that.
Oh, yeah.
We're getting to a remaster, and honestly, man, that just looks fucking great. The games aren't anything too complex, but you don't play them for that. You play them just to have fun with a little arcade-like story to come and enjoy with it.
Yeah.
That's one of the charms the games have to them. They have an arcade game like aesthetic. So seeing that come back would be pretty nice, I think.
Is that all you're gonna say?
Yeah, I think that's really all I could really say about the Atari trilogy, because the stories are so simple. It's not like it leads off to anything, but I would like to see it again. What would be your next choice?
The Fossil Fighter games that was on the DS.
I think I heard of that.
Just imagine Pokemon, but with dinosaurs. And you got the idea. Yeah, the whole story was you going around, like, collecting fossils and then reviving dinosaurs. And making them battle like Pokemon.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
Yep. They weren't the greatest thing on the planet, but they were still really fun. And I think the last game was like 2013, and I heard it wasn't very good. I haven't played, so I can't judge completely. Just what I heard.
Yeah, but you can get an idea by what you hear.
It would probably end up being on Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, it probably would.
Probably wouldn't be very good, honestly.
You never know. Like, if you got the right people behind it, it could be good.
Yeah, even had like their own legendary dinosaurs and stuff in that game.
Yeah.
It based it, and there was a criminal gang you had to stop. Yeah, man, it was really just freaking Pokemon, but with dinosaurs.
You can't go wrong with that. I fucking love dinosaurs.
Yeah.
My next pick, if you said everything about that,
yeah,
would be the Turok games. Like, the Turok games, those were my childhood, man. Particularly Evolution. That I know that game is on the love it or hate it side, but I don't care. I'm on the side that fucking loves it. It had its flaws due to the company kind of rushing the employees, but overall, the gameplay was similar to something you got from the 90s while also being modernized. The graphics, though, weren't... And the graphics to the prior games to Evolution, those were incredible. Like, they really pushed the boundaries of what N64 could accomplish. Evolution, of course, had pretty average graphics, but it was overall still a lot of fun. And the gore of Evolution was insane. Like, if we could get that gore, like the gory kills you get in Evolution, like there was a crossbow you could shoot at the enemy. Now it kind of make them vomit before they die. You could blow your enemies' heads off. You can beat them to death with an axe or something that would just rip their whole bodies apart. It was gruesome. So getting that in modern day graphics, along with the enemies of Turok, that would just be insane. And for those who don't know, the story of Turok, they're based off a comic that essentially goes with the 1 million BC type of thing of going into a place of dinosaurs underground, but the games go a little bit of their own direction. They turn Lost Land into this. It's essentially about the Native American warrior gets sent to another realm that's known as the Lost Land, and the Lost Land is pretty much a place that's a blend of every different realm, which is why you have it's essentially Land of the Lost, just not goofy. You have every generation, every part of the world, every dimension, which is why you have demons, aliens, dinosaurs, lizard people, soldiers, because that's what the Lost Land is. It's everything mixed. Even gods are in there. And Turok Evolution essentially was a prequel game was essentially made as a prequel trilogy to those 90s games, explaining how the warrior Tulset got his journey of becoming Turok. But the thing is, unfortunately, the company, Acclaim, they went out of business on the last minute, which eventually led to it only being one prequel entry. So, though it is a prequel to Turok Dinosaur Hunter, it doesn't add up to Dinosaur Hunter's beginning since the other two entries never happened. Now, we did get a sort of thing that was originally planned to be the sequel of Evolution, where you get the aspects of the script and the gameplay, and that sounded incredible. You are able to ride dinosaurs again. I think it had aspects to do with Heaven, I think. It just went really crazy with it. And essentially you defeated Lord Tyrannus and you had a new threat that was going on, which was pretty cool. Like, everything about that game, so we got some type of closure, would have been cool. Though when it comes to what I read of that script, I would really like someone to kind of use aspects of what was revealed about the originally planned Evolution sequel, while also kind of keeping aspects that Evolution built on, because Evolution was a setup story. So it would have been nice if we would have got something like the first half, you're battling the Slags and Lord Tyrannus, and then the second act of the game, you're kind of going against these new guys, which were the main threats of what I read of that sequel. And then on the final half of the game, you're just going against them. Like, that's what my dream sequel to Evolution would be, and I would like to see it come back. It's a shame that the franchise never got to conclude, because that would have been one sick prequel series, and I mean that. I'm still salty as fuck it never happened, because how Evolution just ends is you're going after Lord Tyrannus. You defeat Bruckner, but you're going after Lord Tyrannus, but that never gets finished. And that's a shame, because Evolution was a really fun ride, and I still love playing it till this day. So if you're to buy Evolution, buy the Xbox or GameCube version, because the PlayStation 2 version, though I grew up with that, is probably one of the weakest of the ports of the game, and the PC version I heard is fucking awful. So grab the game on Xbox or GameCube. That's where you're gonna get them best. And
Okay.
lately, Dinosaur Hunter and Seeds of Evil have been have been slightly remastered for Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. And man, it runs so good.
Yeah, I played a little bit of it. It was pretty fun.
Yeah, it was. Those are really good. If you like that, like I said, buy Evolution. Like, it has its flaws, but it's a really, really fun game, and it's a really good setup. Just still unfortunate its sequels never got to finish. But getting that type of Turok back with modern graphics and the final and some actual closure to Evolution's story, that's something I would really want. Yep. Anyway, what's your next pick, Abyss?
I forgot their names because I just literally just now thought of it. That fighting game that came out in the 90s that was dinosaurs or prehistoric animals.
Oh shit, Primal Rage.
Primal Rage? Yeah, that needs to come back.
Yes, it does. Primal Rage was fucking incredible. I actually played a ROM of that. And for the early 90s, those graphics were insane. You had Mortal Kombat style gameplay with fucking dinosaurs. And not even just normal dinosaurs either. They were like mutant dinosaurs. And I think there's even a little story that went on to it as well.
Yeah. They were planning to make a sequel, but they dropped it because I think they were realizing consoles are starting to become more popular than arcade stuff. And, yes. But the second one actually is out on emulators now, I think, finally. And when you see some of the endings for it, it's like, man, They were planning for an epic third game that they never did.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. But wait, there was a Primal Rage too?
Yeah, that was like in an arcade at some place. I don't
So you
remember.
could play it on emulators. Okay, I'll have to check that out because I really like the first Primal Rage.
I think you can. I don't know for sure.
You probably can. You can't underestimate the internet because there's games like I heard you could play the PS1 version of Superman 64, which was never released, and I heard it's a lot better than the Nintendo 64 version on emulators.
Well,
But that's one of the things that's really good about the internet is it gets all this crazy stuff that you normally can't get elsewhere that you can just simply play by fucking ROM.
yeah.
Okay. What's your next pick? Because I don't think I got anything else.
Shit. Okay, Pokemon's not necessarily a dead franchise, but I would like them to bring back the Pokemon Shadow game, the ones with the Shadow Pokemon games in them. That shit was fun to catch.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a XD Gale Darkness definitely way improved upon it compared to Coliseum.
Yeah.
And after that, we never got anything. That's where Shadow Lugia is from, was XD Gale Darkness. He was the mascot of that. I really wish to see like a comeback of that character some way, or like a third game. It's like a Shadow, maybe Arceus or Mewtwo or something. That would be crazy.
Yeah. Okay, so since Zim is probably not going to join, I'll say this. We need Mecha Assault brought back. Like, yeah, BattleTech is still a franchise that's alive and well, but the Mecha Assault game for the original Xbox, those were fucking incredible. And seeing those come back, man, just imagine on a modern console and a PC how those would run. Those would look great. Like, essentially, you could pilot a bunch of mechs like a Mad Cat, Prometheus, Ragnarok, all that crazy shit. It would be nice to kind of see the return of those characters along with whole new graphics and a nice continuation. Even though if I remember correctly, Mecha Assault 2 concluded, but I would like to see that type of gameplay because I have played some of Mech Warrior, one of the Mech Warriors. I think it was Mech Warrior 5, and I'll be honest, I wasn't huge on it. Like, you can tell it's a part of the same franchise as Mecha Assault, but the way it plays, it just feels a bit clunky in comparison, and it just lacks a lot of spirit that makes Mecha Assault fun, I think.
Yeah.
And essentially, like, I haven't played the games in a while, but the word of Blake, I think the villains were called. Essentially, that's who you're going against in the Mecha Assault games. If I remember correctly, I think in Mecha Assault 2 you defeated them, but that doesn't mean you can't get a new threat.
Yeah.
Okay. You got anything else?
No, not really.
Well then, I guess that is it for this episode. Please comment your thoughts down below. If you enjoyed it, smash that like button, share it around, and subscribe for more awesome content. Make sure to hit that bell for notifications and subscribe to keep up to date on all my future content. Also check out my social media accounts, especially my Discord server. Lots of cool stuff going on in there. And also check out Abysskeiser's channel. He's planning to upload some stuff soon, so definitely give him a shot. I really like the ideas he's got.
Yeah, I might as well just go ahead and announce it. If everything goes to good on my work schedule, I am planning on doing a Jeopardy thing like he did, like y'all did on your last stream.
Oh, that's cool. Is that going to be the theme of your podcast, or are you going to do a variety of things?
It's going to be a variety of things. You know, the ones with John Carpenter. We already talked about it a good bit.
Yeah. But I mean, are you just doing Jeopardy things, or are you also going to do discussions amongst other crazy stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Good. I like variety.
Yeah.
Don't you also plan to do Let's Plays?
Oh yeah, I got to. I'm planning on doing all the Souls games and
Sounds
Elden
good.
Ring.
Sounds good. You should also do. You should also do reviews. Like that would be pretty cool.
Oh, by the way, since we're talking about Souls, Sony, FromSoft, y'all need to put Demon Souls, its remake. We're just going to say the remake since that's the newer version. And y'all need to still put Bloodborne on PC, damn it. If you put God of War on there, I don't want to hear it. Your excuses.
I think they eventually will. I think Sony's just slowly reaching a point where they're gonna put everything on there because they realize Microsoft is making money from it. So Sony is gonna want to do the same thing.
Sony's too slow to embrace newer plays, I noticed. Even worse than Nintendo.
Yeah, I think they will. I think they will. But that said, this is Gojin the Makai Phantom leaving the building.